Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tara Huang. I'm the Regional General Manager for Industry Products, Cabot, Asia Pacific. Today, I'm going to bring a speech about Cabot LP Carbon Black series. So this presentation going to talk about major three parts. First is about regulation requirement in particularly Europe and China and also the GS mark. Secondly, it will give the PAH requirement overview for different existing regulation. And the third one, I'm going to give a little bit introduction about Cabot LP carbon black. Yeah, here is the content, which is a six session. As I just reviewed, I'm going to go through that one by one. So first, what's the PAH? PAH actually is it's polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are actually the family of the chemical compounds that's consistent of the fluoro aromatic rings. And in most cases, I think as we know, it's particularly some of the PAH are identified as carcinogenic and mutagenic materials. It's pretty hazard materials. And different PAH group actually are including different lists and normals. So here is actually we list the major 18 different kinds of PAH. We can see actually in different kind of the regulation, it's talking about the different kind of PAH. In Europe, majorly we're talking about 8 PAH. That's from list here from the 4 and to roughly to 12. And for the US EPA, normally the norm is just identify about 16 different kind of PAH. Currently, China's food content and the Netherlands potable water regulation is just talking about 1. It's the benzoyl alpha parene. And for the GS market, it's the most complicated requirements that actually cover the whole 18 different kinds of the pH. So for the pH in carbon black, actually there's a few things I'd like to highlight here. The first is quite a number of the scientific studies have to conclude the pH actually are pretty firmly bonded to the carbon black surface on the normal handle and use. So it's generally speaking, carbon black in terms of the pH is actually harmless. It's in normal situation, the pH is going to be very difficult to extract from the surface of the carbon black. But second, the pH can only be extracted from the surface of the carbon black under rigorous laboratory condition with very strong solvent and high temperature. So normally under these two conditions, first, they use very strong solvent, and secondly, use high temperature. The pH under the carbon black surface is going to be extracted. And so then also a lot of the published data have shown that the pH on the carbon black are not readily available for human exposure. So its pH associated with carbon black do not migrate out of the rubber articles. That's from many of the articles are already prove that. And the carbon black is not classified as a hazardous and the carcinogenic materials. So generally speaking, say from the toxicological analysis, carbon black is very close as coffee beans. So from that point of view, carbon black is quite a safe material. However, as I mentioned here, if we're talking about the pH, currently all of the regulation is talking about the pH content in the end articles. So as part of the compound, so it's necessary to show what's going to be the pH content in carbon black. This is quite an important topic here. And for pH in carbon black, it's typically created during the manufacturing. It's not directly related with the feedstock. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Here we list about 18 different kinds. Even talking about the one grade, the most common grade for the semi-reinforcement grade N550. We collect 18 different kinds of sample from different plant, different market. This actually covers almost the whole world. Some from Europe, from North America, from Asia Pacific. So if we see even just for the same grade, N550 from different sources. If you look at the total pH, this here we highlight is A16 pH based on the US EPA list. It's quite different. The lowest one is only about less than 10, and the highest one is more than almost 300. So that also shows us it's not the pH content in carbon black. It's not just simply determined by the feedstock or other things. It's quite a complicated process when you need a control from the feedstock, from process, and a lot of other things. So here, for the pH, how we're going to test the pH in the carbon black. Here, we list the major two methods, pretty common in the world. So first, it's the highlight things I want to highlight here. The different test method may used in the major pH, and the result going to be completely different. So for capital, our standard process, we use 48 hours succinate extraction with tolerance under the 110 degree. And this is most severe testing condition with longest extraction time. Normally, in most cases, as GS Max requirement is tolerance-based, 1 hour at 60 degree under the ultrasonic bus. So I think this is majority is common way method to test the pH, but for capital we use the strict way to get our numbers. So the numbers can be quite different as I listed here. So if you look at if we highlight the whole GS mark, it's 18 pH based on the ppm. This is a Safran SOLP. This is one of our low pass grade. We can see even for this kind of products, the pH can be quite different. And for Cabot, our test result got a 4.5. And for other test method use AFPHGS is exactly here. From different lab, we can get a number much lower than Cabot numbers. So that's another evidence to show the guaranteed from Cabot, our test result is probably the highest one. The most strict way to do this kind of test, and our result is in the highly, in most cases, going to be the highest one. So, and in the few slides, I'm going to just briefing about the different kinds of regulation and standard currently pretty popular in the world. China just launched the food content regulation. It's just a few months ago. Its effective date is October 19th, 2017. And currently in this regulation is only one pH being highlighted. It's the BAP. It's benzoyl alpha parene. And currently the requirement is maximum 0.25 ppm based on the tolerant extraction. But here, the regulation itself doesn't mention what's going to be the test method. It's just purely simply mentioned for the maximum content and use which kind of solvent used. It's no pH test method specifically. So which kind of the products linked with this regulation? Normally it's orange, sales, food, transportation belts, and all of things, milk, insulation liners, wrapping, packaging materials is linked with food, normally linked with food. Here is Europe. The Europe EU's regulation is actually effective a little bit earlier. It's about 2.5 years ago. It's effective from December 27, 2015. And also the pH limited are imposed on final articles. This is very important. In the EU regulations, the regulation itself never mentions about raw materials. It's only about the final articles, not on carbon black or other raw materials. That is highlighted here. So normally it's every time when we're talking about the EU regulation for the pH, the most important thing is what's going to be the end products and what's going to be the content in the end articles. Again, here's no pH tested method specific. So this is also something, and it's our expertise also understands. So currently Europe also have in the investigation to confirm which kind of method are going to be appropriate. But till now, it's no specific method mentioned. Yeah, here is the EU regulations. You can see the list normally is 8 different kinds of the PAH. And with this, they go to the different catalog. One is for the toys and toys-related materials. Roughly is around, for each of them, the requirement is less than 0.5 ppm. And for all of the other kinds of articles, normally it's for each of them, it's less than 1 ppm. So this is the majority of the article related, including amongst others, like the sporting equipment, householding tools for the domestic use, clothing, footwear, gloves, sportwear, swear, and other things. So GS mark. GS mark is the previous few China's food regulation and EU's regulation. This is mandatory. This is regulation here. The GS mark is only voluntary quality certification. It's on the final articles. It's not mandatory, but more and more people are willing to follow the GS mark requirement. So GS mark requirement probably is the most complicated and strict one. So they are looking for the total is 18. And 18 different kind of PAH, and effective on the 2015 July 1st. This is also the first one launched. Normally, the product, also the pH test method being specific specification. This is the one I mentioned in the previous slide. And the products or the articles are subjected to this certification can go to these roughly go to this 6 subsegment and cover a lot of them, covered to a lot of the applications. Yes, for the GS mark, you see it, and also again, every time talking about GS mark norms, it's specifically we need to understand what's the catalog category the articles belong to, because GS mark you have the 3 category. Category 1. Majority is limited, connected with toys, and category 2 and category 3. So for each category, they have specific different requirements on different pH. So here, it's the category 1 is pretty strict. It's of a total 18 pH above. The requirements need less than 1 ppm. That's very difficult to achieve. So the last one is Deutsch regulation. Deutsch also just launched the regulation for the drinking water supply. It's effective in 2011. It's quite close to the China food regulation. Only 1 pH being mentioned. That's the benzoyl alpha purine, and the maximum requirement is less than 0.25 ppm. Okay, so about that is just a brief introduction about the PAH. I know it's actually a lot of people already familiar on that, and the most important thing is how we're going to find a solution. How we're going to find a solution to get compliance with this regulation. So here, Capital, we provide a series black. We call it LP black, low pass, low pH black, and to provide a solution for these specific applications. So right now, we launched 3 products. It's Sapphire SOLP, what we call SPSO LP, Sapphire 4000 LP, and the Vulcan 6 LP. This is 3 carbon black. Currently, we launched for this family. And if you look at if I show the whole, this is roughly, it's quite a standard carbon black map based on the surface area and the structure. This map actually including majority of the common carbon black grading here. We can see the 3 products we provide here, from very low structure, very low surface area to the high structure, high surface area, and also the high structure, low surface area. It's already covered pretty wide range for the carbon black, which also we try to use these 3 products to give us customer some kind of the complete solution for different kind of the requirement. So one by one, for the SPSOLP, this is controlled with very low level of pH, high structure, semi-reinforcement, easy to disperse, and also good extrusion performance. Normally, if people want to use these products to replace the common ASTM grade, so here is the recommendation. SPSOLP, it's a good alternative for ASTM N550, N539, 683, 630 in low pH application. Roughly, it's semi-reinforcement. So normally, in most cases, if people want to looking for the semi-reinforcement carbon blacks specific for the low pass requirement, that's going to be SPSOLP. And another one is SP4000 LP. This is, I think, the major difference with SPSO. It's very low viscosity on the high loadings. So it's and also the majority, the SP4000 LP. This is a perfect alternative for the 7 series. Normally, we're talking about pretty large particle size carbon black, which including 774, 772, 768, 762, and also others, the large particle size carbon black. And the third one is Vulcan 6. Vulcan 6 is another side. Vulcan 6 is based on the reinforcement grade, pretty high surface area, high structure, and this is alternative for the ASTM 200 series and the 300 series. So we provided the whole product portfolio, this whole package. We'd like to provide the full a complete solution for can cover almost all kinds of application, use the common carbon black. Yeah, so here is what's going to be we're talking about the very low pH content, what it is. So capital, we control this low pass materials, and we put all of number into our standard cell specification. It's not just some kind of the one guarantee. We actually put in our standard specification. It's some kind of the guarantee provided by our company for all of the products we produced here. So roughly, the pH content for the benzoyl alpha perine, it's about based on our internal test. I want to highlight here, as I previously introduced, the CABT test method probably the most strict one in the world. And based on our test result, the control point is maximal to 0.25 ppm for the benzoyl alpha perine. And for each of 8 pH, including the EU list, is our test result is also the specification is less than 1. And for summary of the 18 pH, including in GS mark list, is 20. So this is the specification we provide for this 3 LP grade. And so it's back to for different under different kind of regulation. The following slide is going to introduce how many carbon black you can add in maximal into your formulation. The first one is for China food contact regulation. Please, I'd like to highlight here. This is based on our specification and assume that other ingredients do not contribute to pH content anymore. So the maximal carbon black content, which can be used in the rubber compound, is just to show the table. The following several slides also based the same conditions. We just assume the other ingredients do not contribute anymore. So here for the China food content regulation, it's almost unlimited. So our carbon black, low pass carbon black, completely complies with the regulation. You just add based on the final physical requirement, you add what you want. Maximum to 100%. That's mean pure carbon black. And for the EU regulation, here, EU regulation, we can go to the 2 category. One is toy and the children cares materials, another is other consumer products. So based in this kind of different categories, the maximal loading is different. So for the toys and children cares materials, maximum is 50%. 50% loading is maximal carbon black loading based on the specification. Again, here is not based on the real data. It's not based on the real test data. It's just based on our specification. 50% maximal. And for the second layer, the other consumer goods, you can also go to unlimited loading, 100% maximal. For GS mark, it's a little bit complicated. GS mark, again, as I mentioned before, every time when we're talking about the GS mark, we need to ask which kind of the category the final articles is located. Difference on category 1, category 2, category 3, the maximum loading can be very different. For the category 1, which link with the mouse content and also toys, particularly for babies, use the toys which can contact with has a possibility contact with baby's mouth. The maximum requirement, the maximum loading is only 5% for these two grades, for this SPSO LP and SP4000 LP, and 10% for the Vulcan 6. In the category 2, it's almost double. So here for toys is 10% for these two grades and 50% for the Vulcan 6. Other contents is 25, 50. And for the category 3, again, for the SPSO, LP, and SP4000, 25, 50. And for Vulcan 6, because the PAH content for this grade is even lower than the rest of these two, so you can add it to 100%. So roughly, this is only from our formulation recommendation. It's purely based on the specification. In the different case, reality case, actually people can do the adjustment based on the formula by different requirement. For Dutch, for Netherlands, drinking water supply is also almost unlimited, 100%. So it's and here I want to again it's for our capital certification. So the LP carbon black series we produce using manufacturing process specifically designed to keep the pH at very low level. And also the pH content is tested after the production using the composite representative samples. And also the pH result for each round we're going to report into our COA, certification of analysis, which we're going to send out with each delivery. So all of the pallet, all of the material we send out, we're always going to with our standard COA together with our specifications. So the COA reports both actual production result and the specification for the pH of increased. And I can show the few cases here. So standard, if no specific requirement, we're going to send out our certification of analysis COA based on the EU regulation requirement. You can see here is a standard COA we send out for all of these kind of the LP products. This is ID number, OEN, tint. Here is just the standard COA for the carbon black. Beyond that, we list the 8 PAH content for these products. Here is the actual number. Here is the specification. Probably the number is too small, but I want to say if you look at here, this is about 1. This is just aligned with requirement. It's about specifically is less than 1, and the COA is the result. The actual result is here is 0.05, 0.07. It's much lower than the specification. And for the customer, if you specifically want to the COA related with GS mark, we also can provide a special COA. It's GS mark requirements. So here, beyond the 8 pH content we list same as EU requirement, specifically we can add a few more to link with GS mark. And also, I think the customer also going to based on this COA to adjust their formulation for the GS mark requirement. Yeah. So this is the last slide. Is as a summary. So the Cabot LP series is a portfolio of the 3 carbon black products to cover the wider range of carbon black grade typically used targeted rubber application, and proposed to develop a carbon black product for consistent, very low pH content and committed to customer with sales spec and COA. I think that's very important. All of our products, when we sell it to the customer, is guaranteed for the very low pH. And so it's commercialized, available now, and offered worldwide for customer to address for all of these kind of regulation we just mentioned here. Normally four: China regulation for food, EU regulation for consumer articles, certification for GS mark, and Dutch regulation for drinking water. And in each region, we also have our sales team, commercial team, and also the technical service team. The regional capital technical service team are going to support local customer with meeting very low pH content requirement. We already developed this business till now, I think 3 years. Joko, right? I think we launched this product 3 years ago. And in past 3 years, we developed a lot of the business with customer. And the local capital regional technical service team provided a pretty important role here. We discussed with customers together and designed the formulation together. So the last one, the LP grade currently are only manufactured at a capital plant in Italy. That's only one unit right now. In our system, we approved this unit can produce this LP grade with a very high strict control. And currently, till now, Capital Ravana plant has plant more than 9 years. Has with more than 9 years experience to manufacture this kind of very low pH carbon black, and a little more than that. So currently, we also plan to demonstrate the Saffron SO this grade, because this is the largest grade SPSO. This is largest grade used in the industry products. We are looking forward to demonstrate the capability for this grade in China. It's still ongoing, but highly likely we're going to do that, really based on because we see more and more demand, specifically in Asia Pacific for LP. So finally, here I also list our contacts. We have our global LP expert is Sun Ailing. She is based in Shanghai. She's based in Capital China, based in Shanghai. Here is her contact way. And also for the specific for APS, we have Puva, our technical service manager, and he is also can provide the full range of solution if the customer needs have further question to ask us. Finally, for all of this information, you can also go to our website www.capitalcorp.com to get more information.